Welcome to episode 135 of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast. I am your co-host, Stephen Rothberg, founder of College Recruiter, and currently suffering from a summer cold. So if it sounds like I've been smoking a lot of cigars, it's not. It's a virus. Peter, good to see you.
Summer cold in May. What can I tell you?
Well, it's
Anyway, good to see you.
You can't really get a summer cold in January.
Good. That's true. It is. You can get a summer cold in January, especially if you're living in the southern hemisphere.
Okay, fine. You got me.
Okay. Anyway, good afternoon. We usually do these in the morning, but today it's afternoon for us. Who knows when you're listening? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. And thank you for joining us. I'm Peter Zollman of the AIM Group. And what prompted us today to talk about voice apply was the acquisition a couple of weeks ago. Tom Chevalier and his startup Tink acquired another relative startup called ApplyCall, which is a system whereby people call and give their information conversationally, and the next thing you know, their conversational information has been processed through AI, and Tink's AI then gives that information to the employer, etc. And we've seen a few of these companies that do the voice apply. What struck me about Tink and ApplyCall was that they are targeting specialized high-end niches, specifically nursing and healthcare. And the company that we reported on a couple of years ago, and you and I talked about this, Stephen, I couldn't find it in our archives. I know it's out there. They were specializing in blue collar. They started in Europe, and they said, truck drivers don't have a resume. And even if they do, they don't have the time, the patience, the inclination to upload the resume to apply for a job through a resume. So they call us, or we call them, and we say, we ask you 6 questions. And we take those 6 questions and we process the answers to those 6 questions, and we stack rank them. And we have a field of candidates. And so the question for you, Stephen, is everybody going to be doing this in 5 years?
Oh, hell no. End of podcast.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. It's good as always. No, to be specific, I don't want anybody to think that I feel like this stuff has no merit and that nobody will be doing it. I do think that some will be doing it, but I do not think of this as a replacement for job posting ads or the way that a lot of job boards do business now. I see this as being an extension of what we're doing. It's a way for employers to tap into a group of candidates that might not be inclined to go to a traditional job board, keyword search, find postings, maybe get matched by AI, resume, upload your resume, it'll match you against job postings. What I've thought of with these voice-based systems, though, and I think you touched on this, Peter, is that they've largely been confined to what some people call blue-collar work, what some people call standing jobs, but it's the customer service, it's the truck driver, it's the day laborer kinds of roles. Now we're starting to see this creeping into more white-collar sitting kinds of jobs, the jobs that you do at a desk behind a computer, including a lot of the healthcare positions. It'll be interesting to see how well it works.
Well, obviously, saying to the guy who runs the High Volume Hiring podcast, there's some real merit to the option of saying, we're going to make 1,000 phone calls. Now, you have to be careful in the States, at least, about do not call lists.
Yeah.
And certainly in Europe, there are all sorts of privacy restrictions. but we'll make 1,000 phone calls, or we'll make 1,000 texts, or 10,000 or 100,000
Mm-hmm.
to people and say, here's an opportunity you may be interested in. Answer the phone, call us at, and just answer 5 simple questions or 6 simple questions. And if you're looking for nurses and you can get 200 of them to call you out of 10,000, and you have a story about that, so I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, I knew you were playing softball pitcher and throwing me a nice underhanded pitch there. I was at a conference in mid-May, and one of the presentations was a talent acquisition leader at a big healthcare system, along with the CEO of a HR tech or TA tech vendor that offers this kind of voice system. The healthcare system was concerned that in 9 days, their nurses, 2,000 or 4,000 or so, 4,000 nurses were going to go on strike. And if you're running a chain of hospitals, you can't really close the doors like you can if you're running a cupcake shop. So they brought in this vendor who did massive outreach to nurses. And the goal was to basically bring in 2,000 nurses to break the strike or to be working while the permanent nurse employees were on strike. They didn't end up needing to do that because the strike was settled, but they played some recordings of the interview process. It was, I would say the best word I can describe it is awkward. The typical AI pauses, the syncophatic language, that's really interesting, and just that kind of stuff, I think, made most of the people, most of which were job boards leaders in the audience, just kind of feel like this technology is coming, but it's not quite here yet. It just didn't come across in a very candidate friendly, polished manner. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be there in 6 months or a year. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't have merit today. I just think it's going to get a lot better.
Oh, for sure. But we did it. You and I did a quick scan of our archives at the
Yeah.
AIM group, and we found Fiverr is using some of this, and 11 Labs is funding some of this. Hackajobs is using conversational AI. I don't know if that's audio. I wanted to look it up. And there are at least several other companies doing this service. And the one that most impressed me said, dial this number, truckers, people who are day laborers, people who are, restaurant workers looking for a quick fit. I don't want, and within 10 minutes, you've been interviewed,
Mm-hmm.
6 questions. One of the things that struck me about it was that it was language neutral. So if you spoke English, if you spoke French, if you spoke Spanish, if you spoke Portuguese, it would translate it and it would stack rank it. It was being used by Tesco or one of the big UK supermarket chains. And they said a ton of their hiring for their entry-level jobs. And those entry-level jobs, unlike entry-level jobs in white collar,
Mm-hmm.
those entry-level jobs are never going to go away. They're going to be people stocking shelves or straightening shelves. Even if there are robots doing some of it, they're going to be people, they're going to be some cashiers at the supermarket, even if most of the cash registers have become self-service.
Yeah, and speed matters greatly with those roles, right? I mean, if
Absolutely.
somebody can just sort of be impulsively looking for a job, they're a nurse and they're happily employed, but something better comes along, or they're out of work and they're looking for a cashier position, whatever. There are tons of different options there. But if you're Tesco and you can put a candidate through the application screening process, extend a job offer to them in a couple of days, you're going to have your choice of candidates when your competitors are taking 2, 3, 4 weeks. So it's one of the reasons I like these systems. One of my concerns about them, though, is that along with a lot of the AI powered hiring systems, there's really no way of knowing how well they work. And what I mean by that is if 1,000 candidates come in through the process and the AI tools, which are almost all built on top of OpenAI, some of them Grok, Anthropic, Gemini, whatever, the big foundational models, all of those companies have said publicly that there is no reliable audit trail. You cannot ask Gemini with any degree of accuracy how it arrived at a decision. It will give you an answer. It'll tell you this is what it did, but it's kind of like me saying to you, "Hey Peter, remember a week ago when you went for lunch? What did you get for lunch? Why did you choose to get that rather than something else on the menu? Did you like it?" To the best of your ability, you're going to give me an answer. You're going to tell me what you think is correct, but you won't actually know it's correct because it's looking back. I'm concerned about the bias. I'm concerned about these systems making the hiring manager believe that this candidate is well ranked and this other one is poorly ranked.
Two things, though. Number
Yeah.
one, there's a certain level of verification and authenticity if you have a candidate doing a voice interview.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, if I have a big banquet tomorrow night at my hotel and I discover I'm 12 servers short, I don't really care about the long term. I'm not really concerned about the bias. I want 12 servers for tomorrow night. And these voice application tools or these voice qualification tools and interview tools can certainly go a long way. If I need a trucker who's going to drive for my company, and I can qualify him or her through a series of 6 questions. Do you have a commercial driver's license? Have you driven over the road trucking, or do you prefer local trucking? Do you have a hazardous materials certification? And 6 qualifications knock out 70, 80, 85%, leave me with a much tighter pool. And then the AI tool says, here's a list of 24 versus going through 1,000 resumes. Most of them never would have come in at all. I think this is definitely an option. We're out of time. We don't have to ask our guests any questions.
Well, I do want to chime in with a couple quick things, though, if you don't mind.
No mind at all, of course.
So one is that I think what you're describing there is improved efficiency for the employer. And I agree, but improved efficiency does not mean that it's legal. And some of the examples that you stated, I think, would be from the kinds of organizations or the kinds of hiring needs that the employer would be more likely to say, I don't really care what the law is, I just need to be staffed. Where for a hospital system that's been around for 100 years, that'll be around for another 100 years, the likelihood of being sued or criminally charged for illegal hiring practices is definitely much more of a concern than somebody who is just throwing a wedding. Speaking of a banquet, I want to know, Peter, why I wasn't invited to the party that you're hosting.
You were invited, you just didn't come. I want to remind you that we will have at my house our annual Red Hot Barbecue and Boom in Orlando. You are not only welcome, but strongly encouraged to come and bring faith. It is a very hot night, usually literally and figuratively. I would love to have you join us. And last but not least, I want to express my condolences on the disappearance of your hockey team, the Minnesota Wild, from the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah, and we're recording this the day after our team was eliminated, and so by this time that people are listening to this, it will be old news. But
I knew that, but I didn't have to. Sad news. I can express condolences whenever.
Cool.
We've run over
Thank
our
you, Peter.
15 minutes. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.